With me today is a referee who, in the golden period of the 80s of snooker, was a referee who was larger than life himself, Mr. Len Ganley. Welcome, Len.
Thank you, Steve.
Pleasure to see you here, but I've got to say, first of all, you're not as large as life as you used to be.
Well, that's true. I've went from just 25 stone till I'm just under 16.
That's a massive drop.
Well, when I done it originally, it was a bet between Les Dodd and myself. And Les was, we actually weighed ourselves, and Les was about 2 pounds lighter than me. And Les went from 25 stone, 9, till 12 stone. I don't know if you've seen him after it got down to 12 stone.
Well, I remember Les Dodd was the biggest snooker player on the circuit, much bigger than Bill Werbenick.
Yeah, and got down to 12 stone and looked even thinner than you did.
And was, I think, Slimmer of the Year.
Slimmer of the Year as well.
So
he won the award twice.
Yeah. I remember Les Dodd was quite strange, because at his biggest, he had trouble getting the cue near his chin, and he used to have to put his chin across like that.
That's right, he used to do the Clive Everton.
That's right. And then the next thing, he lost all the weight, and I think I played him. And it must have been so different for him, because all of a sudden he's queuing up,
yes,
and there wasn't the body part there before, so he felt as if he hadn't...
That's right, he felt as if he had got that space to come and go,
and he couldn't play.
He couldn't play at all.
That's weird. So you had a bet with Les?
Yeah, and I lost the bet.
But you've continued to...
Well, on and off I've continued. When I lost it so quickly, I had a stroke in 93,
right.
And then again in 97 I had another one, because I lost it again. So I'm just trying to keep a happy medium at the moment.
Well, you don't see it on the television screens as much now.
Well, that's true.
But I mean, in the heyday, your heyday, so far as refereeing, you were the referee everybody remembered,
yeah,
and thinks of. I mean, do you think that was down to size?
Well, it was down to size and down to different other things, and then you're back till 83, we had the Curling Black Label advert.
John Spencer now having to cue over the green ball. And what a disastrous stroke. And the referee's none too pleased either. Well, that's most peculiar.
I bet he drinks Carling Black Label.
Do you ask? We were in Newcastle at the time, and the funny thing with it was the young kids had come from the shop windows and all, and they said to me, would you sign me autograph book? And I put Len Ganley, and they've given me and they said, no, put Len Ball Crusher Ganley on it, because they had seen the advert before I had.
Right.
I hadn't even seen the advert, but Pullman said to me, John Pullman, who we had on the circuit for years, and John says, oh, will you see this advert? And I didn't know till it actually come out, and that came out actually in 83 at the Jameson.
The people in the advert, was it John Spencer was the person who delivered the line?
He delivered part of the line.
And there was a miscue or something, and you picked the white ball up and crushed it in your hand.
And then Terry Griffiths said, I bet he drinks Carling Black Label.
And from then on, you were a household name.
I just couldn't believe it. That's true.
Len Ball Crusher, I can't even say it. I had to write it. Len Ball Crusher Ganley, overnight success.
In 83. And for years, even people come up to me now and remembers the advert when they were only 6, 7 and 8.
Yeah, and I also, on the back of that, I'm not too sure if it was the same time, to sort of help your popularity as if you needed it, because you were the most recognised referee on the television. The presence of you was important as well, mustn't forget that. There was a song that was doing the Len Ganley stance.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
That was Half Man, Half Biscuit. They wrote to me and said to me, would you mind awfully if we done a song about you? And I said, no problem, do whatever you want. And it come out to be the Len Ganley stance. Everybody's doing the Len Ganley stance. And part and part, they were actually going to put me into a video of it, where I'm looking at the audience when they're rattling sweetie papers and stuff like that there. It was just so funny. And I think they only sold about 500,000 of the what do you call it, the records at the time.
Well, I don't remember it being big in my household.
No, that's not saying that, no, but it's just one of the things.
Everybody's doing the Len Ganley stance. 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 Keep your arms as rigid as a juggernaut. Clench your fist, but your knuckles straight ahead. Do your best to look like a teddy bear, then try and pretend to look vertically dead.
At that time, obviously, when snooker was arguably bigger than it is now.
That's right.
And perhaps the general public had less to choose from. They had only 2 or 3 television channels, so everybody was tuning into BBC or ITV or whatever.
That's right.
So a lot of people were watching snooker on the television. Yeah. You became the most popular referee. Did you get any sort of flack or jealousy from the other referees at that time?
Flack and the fact that I was travelling worldwide with the fact, you were with Barry Hearn. Barry went everywhere first class. He'd done Dubai, Bangkok, Hong Kong, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Chiang Mai, Beijing. He'd done all those countries before even the WPBSA came into the world of snooker. And he made it bigger because he had, as he said, he had the top 8 or 10 players in the world. And
we had the biggest referee.
That's true.
As well.
Because
and especially in the Far East, I always remember the Far East, how, they commanded respect and the size when you walked in the room and said, quiet please or something.
Yeah.
That was something that, especially in the Far East, they were quite overawed about. I remember we went to a hotel once, I don't know if you can remember, in Shanghai, I think, the first time into China.
Yeah.
And
85.
Dennis Taylor came into my room and said, what's your room like? And I said, oh, it's all right. And I went into Dennis's room. And he said, what's your room? It was okay. And then what happened?
Well, can you remember, Dennis, you're on the same floor as me, and you had exactly the same room as I had. We had a big 12 dining room table on each room, and Dennis's was lower down on the next floor. And he didn't even have a dining table. It was just one of those little small tables like this. And Dennis's went for a shower. And as he's turned on the hot and cold water together, this fusty red, green gunk come out of it. And he just erupted. And he's put a towel around him, and he's walked up and he's banging on my door.
Demanded to get in your room.
He demanded to get into my room and me to move down into his room.
Well, the thing about it was that the Chinese government decided that obviously the most important person of the tour was obviously the referee.
Well,
so he was to get the biggest room.
What they actually said was, because you were the number one, as the snooker world was, and I was the number one referee, they forgot that Dennis had won the 1985 championships that year. And he went absolutely ballistic. And then the other joke we done after that was, if you can remember, we actually said everybody got a video in their room except Dennis. And went ballistic again.
Yes,
that was
right.
so funny, that was. we done it with everyone.
Yeah, but they were quite special days.
Oh, yes.
But from a point of view of the snooker referees, you were the referee that travelled the world.
I travelled the world.
Must have been a bit of...
For 4.5... Well, yeah, there was bitterness in the camp, but the thing was, Barry done different things. I was there as the referee. That was part of it. Because I'm up earlier than most, I always kept Jimmy right and a few other people while they were there. I would always get Jimmy ready, and because Jimmy's one of the worst people for turning up on time for anything. And I'd have done some of the spiel for the tournaments. They didn't understand what the spiel was about. I just done the spiel and they got onto the table. But it's the overall picture. We had camaraderie there, was bar none. We had a great time there.
Saturday. The full force of nature's fury will be released. Witness the second coming of Mike Tyson. Live from Hampden Park, Saturday at 8. Sky Box Office. Book before midnight on Friday for the early price of $11.95. Call 08705-800-777. Cable customers, contact your local operator.
In the battle to save our summer, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Lilt Ladies versus the Weathermen.
I'm coming to get you.
Oh, it's the Pineapple and Grapefruit Crush.
Come on, get them girls.
your life, you gloomy little man. Look, ladies, the winner!
Is that the full leather interior?
Yeah.
Good options package?
I'm sorry?
Tints, heated seats, sat nav.
I guess so.
6 or 12 CD multi-changer.
I haven't counted.
What is it? 1.8?
No, it's 2 litre. Reinforced aluminium VTEC. Variable valve timing and lift. Delivers 73 brake horsepower per litre. It's an incredibly efficient, normally aspirated engine.
Has it got those hooks for hanging your jacket in the back?
Has it got those hooks for hanging your jacket up?
This is Kibler regarding your washing machine.
Oh, smashing great.
I've serviced a gas appliance and repaired a washing machine in the same house. They understand that you're qualified and trained to do it.
The actual drum was moving, but not moving round.
The drive belt that came off the drum, it also became damaged, so I set up a new one.
The cooker's covered, it's all covered. Fridge, freezer.
There you go.
Thanks very much,
Great.
brilliant, thanks.
So, Michael, imagine it's the final. We've gone to penalties. You've got to score to win the match. The hopes of a nation are resting on your shoulders. What goes through a footballer's mind at a time like this?
Well, Garth, I'd probably be thinking how lucky I am that with my nationwide current account, I have access to an estimated 500,000 cash machines worldwide, with no charge from Nationwide.
Relax with a Nationwide current account.
The Sisters of Moxie's. Guardian angels watching over the Moxie's drinker.
Good evening. During the past year, I have shown you how some of magic's most famous illusions are secretly performed. I have done this under the guise of a masked face and an assumed name. Well, tonight, the time has come for me to remove the masks because I have something very important to share with you.
Learn the shocking truth about the man behind the mask in Magic Secrets Revealed 4, Thursday at 8 on Sky 1.
So all of a sudden, you became an overnight refereeing success story, and people hadn't probably seen you too much on their television screens up until then. There was a few referees that have been perhaps doing more in the past, but
yeah.
in what seemed like, to me anyway, on a very short space of time, whoosh, in came Len Ganley.
That's correct.
And sort of not took over, but was one of the top referees overnight. Yeah. But of course, that didn't happen overnight.
No, but that's the thing.
But so where does it start for a referee? How did you become a referee to referee at world standard? How did it start?
I learnt my profession from a little man who had an aviary. He kept budgies, budgerigars, different things, canaries, the whole works. And it was called Feely Headley. And we used to sit, and he used to read the rule books to me, and I used to do the answering, stuff like that. And I went through my C grade with him. I went through my B grade with him.
What age were you here?
I was 15. I just made my first century at snooker.
Your highest break at snooker is
136.
136, which is unusual amongst referees.
And I didn't make it until I come to England, to Derby. Your father must think the world of you.
Oh. Look at that. Oh. I can only give you one for that. Six. Yeah. 6 to the ball crusher. So you were a decent player, decent amateur, certainly.
Well, yeah.
But at 15, you'd started studying the rule book, which is unusual for a snooker player.
Well, the funny thing was, in them days, there was no such a thing as you walking into the room and you'll pick a referee out, because nobody refereed. And what Feely says, well, you want to be a good referee as well as a player, because if you're asked to do, say I done 2 frames and come off the table, you just sit down there and you beat on somebody playing another 2 frames. He says, get up and referee, which I thought then was good for me. And you get used, like, if you watch a good referee, nobody sees him. He's there. He's there to do his job. He's there to see the foul strokes and everything else. But 9 times out of 10, he's actually looking at you queuing up. And the change in queuing up, people can queue up and look as if they're going to hit the ball, and then at the last minute, use a different side.
Yep.
You know that? They're running into the pack. All of a sudden, if they use right-hand side, they come off the 2 cushions and check up, straight up through, and they're not anywhere near the balls. Different things that happen, and you learn all that.
So from the age of, from a very early age, you started to referee?
I started playing when I was 9 in the LCA in Lurgan. And I was playing billiards predominantly then, and some snooker. And as I say, I didn't make my first 100 break until I was 15.
Right. Well, I didn't make mine till I was 17 and a half. So
yeah, well, yeah.
you were ahead of me, certainly.
Yeah. But like, you know, you go till different things.
So what made you go into full-time refereeing, or even at amateur level full-time refereeing?
I came over to Burton-on-Trent in 1971, and I was actually in the club for a 10-day holiday, and I walked into the club, and this guy, Falker Martin, turned around and he said, "I'll give you 21 start for half a crown." Now, I'm laughing because he hasn't even seen me play.
Right.
And all of a sudden he says, "Do you want me to smash the pack open?" Now, I mean, he'd only got one eye and a great player, but he smashed the pack open.
With one eye?
With one eye, and I've gone, half a crown, this visa is half a crown I've ever earned. I had a 96 against him.
Right.
He's come away from the table, put his cue in the case, never even said to me, "Good, bad or indifferent, there's your half a crown." He walked out of the club. He says, when he comes back, he says, to leave, he says, "I'll be back." And that was, I was there for the 10 days, and I found a little house in Newhall, and I stayed.
And then the refereeing was as a case...
Synonymous had come on with it.
But because you didn't want to play? Or what was
No. I was playing in the local leagues. I was playing in the Burton District, South Derbyshire. I was playing in the Nottingham and Coventry District. I was playing all the districts. I was getting trophies and all.
Right.
But the refereeing come through a charity. If you can remember, you actually done some of the charity shows. We had the riding school for the handicapped, and it was actually blind people handicapped. And you done one of the shows, Reardon done one of the shows, Terry Griffiths done one of the shows, Mountjoy done one of the shows. I used to do a show a month.
And so you were refereeing those?
And I was refereeing those. And then somebody turned around and said to me, it was Reardon, turned around and said to me, he said, "Len," he said, "why don't you think about taking up refereeing?" And I never even thought of it until he said it. But the funny way it happened was, we had about 600 people in the arena, and Reardon had just made 105 break, potting the black, and he's straight on the yellow for the rest of the colours. And you know what he does? He leans on the table and turns around and gives you a big smile and all. And it just went deadly. I went like that there, and it just went deadly hush. And Reardon says, "Well, if this was the World Championships," he said, "we'll be getting this for the next 15 minutes. On the dead on the yellow, I'm getting the extra 27. And this wee fella shouted from the back, he says, "Yeah, but have you looked at the size of the bastard referee?" It was so funny at that particular time. And like, he laughed and I laughed. But that was it. I was that big at the time.
And so then the progression is that you start to...
77, 78, they put me through as blackballed. 79, I went into the official referees.
They put you through as blackballed?
No, they blackballed me the first year I went in.
Oh, the referee association?
Yeah.
All right, okay. But then eventually you started to referee top amateur matches and...
it was the Yamaha 1980. I went into my first professional match.
Right, really then?
And it was like,
That was when snooker just took off on the television.
Oh, yeah.
So your timing was as good as mine.
And I've walked out in front of a live audience for the first time, and I've went through 2 shirts and 4 pair of gloves because I was just sweating looking at a live audience.
So what was that? What was it like? I mean, I've done a little bit of refereeing myself. I remember years ago refereeing for my friends in club snooker and being frightened to call a foul stroke. But your first time, what was that like on television?
Well, that's what I mean. I was just hyper. I was just afraid to say something that might be detrimental to either player. And I was sweating. My gloves were just coming off me and getting new pairs of gloves sent out to me.
Who were the players? Do you remember?
David Taylor and...
the Silver Fox?
Silvino Francisco.
Right.
In the Yamaha.
A fairly dour game.
Oh.
Tough game, though.
A big game. That particular time, David was having a really bad run. Because David, backstage, used to run to the toilet to vomit and stuff like that there.
Well, did he?
Because he was nervous at that time. And as he come along... I seen him in one of the tournaments where a fellow was smoking. And he asked for a chair so as he could sit away over at the far side of the petition.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
It's just some of the things that got to him at that time. And David was on a practice table. David would have made, if it was 10 frames, he'd have made 9 centuries.
He was quite a nervous character.
But once he went out to the table, he was completely different.
So in 1980, the general standard of play was quite slow, wasn't it?
Except for Higgins.
Apart from Alex Higgins.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of the players, the era I grew up with, it was the considered player, the player that took a long time before he chose the 50-50 ball and probably played safe as much as anybody else.
Correct.
So a referee in those days was on his feet for a fair old time.
I've seen me in some of the matches been on the feet 9.5, 10 hours.
In a day. Concentrating.
Yeah. And if you got the wrong 2 matches, you were on your feet to 4 in the morning. and I've ended up that way. I've ended up where I'd got Cliff Thorburn and Eddie Charlton. I've got...
Not the fastest match in the world.
Oh, and I've got Dennis Taylor and Terry, which is definitely not the fastest match in this world because on the table they both of them hated one another. But off the table it's a completely different thing. But on the table everybody wanted to, like, Dennis won the 1985, but he lost to Terry in the 79.
That's right, yeah.
You know what I mean? And like he's always wanted to do one better every time, and that's what it's all about. They're good friends off the cuff, and then on the table proper, they're enemies.
Right, so you then become, in a very short space of time from 1980 onwards, a very well-known referee. And when was the first World Championship final?
81.
So it's quite quickly you refereed.
It was a big surprise to me.
Who won that one? 81.
What was his name?
Anyway.
Oh, that's right.
Super League action on Sky Sports continues this weekend. And the excitement is mounting, with every team fighting every inch of the way.
He fancies it! Oh, what a try!
The pace is going to be fast, and the tackles unrelenting.
Beautiful! What a try!
This is the Super League at its best. A Super League double starting Friday at 7 live. Sky Sports 1.
Laugh at you when you boo, 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 'cause I love you. You get me in a spot, the smile you got when I love you. You make me out a clown and you put me down, I still love you. I just like the things you do.
スムースな入りです。さあここから十字に移ります。ここまでは見事な演技。見事に決めました。
Thank you, Steve Thompson from Scotland.
It's a load of rubbish, isn't it? I mean, I could do better than that.
Of course you could.
And our next contestant is Sheila from Merseyside.
With Open, you can shop, email and bank through your TV 24 hours a day.
Hey?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone now. When I see you with anyone.
To check out Open's great offers, press your interactive button.
I've just had a free digital dish and box from Sky.
All I had to do was pay for the installation.
That's why people are switching to digital. Hurry up, get on the train.
To get your free digital dish and box, call 0870 240 2000.
So, describe a referee's day or feelings for the World Championship, walking out of the Crucible Theatre.
Well, he's getting ready to go out there to do a stint, but in saying he's getting ready to go out there and do a stint, if you're walking out for the first time into the Crucible Theatre, it's like static electricity, and even the hairs in the back of your neck start to rise, and you're feeling like it's like an afterglow. You're walking out there and feeling, oh, this is it. This is the big time, and you're walking out there to do your first match, and as the players are introduced to you, and you're shaking their hands and all, you're saying, I hope my hand's not sweaty and all this, and that this is part and parcel of how you feel, and you hope you don't make a mistake, and you don't want to give an unfair decision either way on certain things, and it just, everything goes through your mind at that particular moment in time. And then when you say game on at first frame, everything's settled. I mean, it's just like
clockwork then.
Everything going straight into the box again, and everything's clockwork.
Yes. But of course, I mean, you go to the World Championship, the Crucible Theatre, you don't win or lose.
No,
a referee has a very strange job to do, because he's doing his job.
Yeah.
The tournament itself is much more high profile than some of the other tournaments. So everything's exciting, but you're still not going to win or lose, are you?
No, but it's not the point of winning or losing, so far as I'm concerned. It's the point of making a detrimental decision where a player, those 4 points that he loses, or 7 points that he loses by touching the black, leaning over the table or anything, that 7 points means a big thing. Like a frame advantage either way is a big thing.
So what's the worst mistake you've ever made in a professional?
John Porritt at the World Championships. The cameraman stepped back. I've stepped back with him like that there. He's played the shot, and he's on the cushion. And when I've set the balls back again.
Oh, after a miss.
After the miss, he's actually potted. It was the brown. He potted.
So John Porritt played a foul stroke, and then
I hadn't placed the ball back.
You had to set the balls back again, and you had to place the ball back.
But at that time, you see, you didn't have to ask both the players. But I did ask Tony. He said, "Play it from wherever you like." You know, Tony Knowles was.
Yes, right. Was playing Tony Knowles.
Tony.
But this was the early days of the misrule and the putting the back of the ball on a regular occasion.
No. This was before the misrule was changed.
So this was when the misrule wasn't that common an occurrence.
That's right. The misrule was changed, I think, the 5 times that Dennis missed it at the World Championships. It was changed just after that.
Right. So when you started refereeing,
yeah,
there wasn't really an official that strong a misrule in place. It was just a free ball rule.
That's right. It's similar to a free ball rule.
So a referee has to. Every referee's got in different things. Has got to be aware of different things in every sport.
Yeah.
So a referee at one stage had to be aware of if it was a free ball or not, but
Yeah.
that was after the event.
Yeah.
So then the biggest problem a referee has in snooker is predicting these days when a player's going to make a foul stroke and a miss.
Which basically, you've got to be behind the player, see what side he's using, everything else, and thinking, is he actually going to play the miss in your own mind? Because the rule states that if you pass a ball by that much coming up the table, it shouldn't be a miss if he's run past it.
Right.
But if you run short by that much, it's replaced. But with 15 reds on the table, you must, if you come off 2 cushions, you must strike the balls. But if you come off 1, you could pass a ball by a fraction.
Yeah, and then you've got to remember where the balls were, if more balls were moved.
That's right. And like, it gets to a laughing situation when 10 or more balls are moved.
So it's not necessarily a case that a referee's really making that much of a mistake. It's more just the fact that who's got that great a memory.
That's right, basically.
So, what about if TV was used to replace balls somehow?
Well, I actually thought about this before. Now, it could be used if you got an infrared dot to shine down on the table where all the reds are.
Right, yeah.
Are you with me? You actually do that. You've got your TV scanner up above your video. So once it's down there, all you've got to do is put red dots on all the balls just to see what happens. So if they're moved in any which way or form, it's there in front of you again.
Right.
You can actually see the same thing, but you're back to square one. There's 1,001 different ways.
Okay, right, after your biggest mistake, what's the best decision you've made? Because, I mean, under pressure, perhaps it doesn't spring to mind.
Oh, it
Good
does.
Good decision you've made under pressure that's been talked about afterwards.
Dennis Taylor's 5 misses at the World Championships. He was 38 or 39 in front with 1 red on the table, and he's missed it blatantly and come back to the same spot every time.
To not move the red?
That's right.
Okay. And you were, I assume that in those days that the player was criticising referees for calling that many misses?
I think he wanted to walk off at one time. If I called the next miss, and I did call it.
But obviously, I mean, on the snooker circuit, it's quite a tight-knit community.
Oh, yes.
All the referees know all the players.
All the players are backstage watching everything that's done, and some of the players come back to me. And
sometimes you're on tour with players and making friends with them.
Yeah.
So it's quite tough.
Oh, it's funny. We sit in a venue, and we're at a certain stage of quarterfinals, semi-finals, final stages, and we're playing Kaluki. We play 10p Kaluki.
It's all the referees?
All the referees. And some players come in like you do yourself and play Kaluki with us. It's just fun. Over there, people are playing 2, 4, 6, 8 pound. No, 2, 4, 8 pounds Kaluki, where they could lose £1,000 and think nothing of it. And like, they're shouting Kaluki and we're shouting Kaluki, but it's like it's like having an earth. I've won 35p. He's won 1,000 or £1,200 in the game.
So how do you think the referees view the players? I mean, okay, I'd be quite candid, but I mean, without dropping anybody into it, obviously. Now, there's the snooker players. A lot of them became, very well known, financially secure. They made a lot of money. Referees are getting paid a wage.
Yeah.
How do how do the group of referees view the players? How do you think they look upon them?
If you're to look at it as a whole and the way things have progressed, in the early years when you got Jameson under sponsorship, you got Coral under sponsorship, you've got a few of the big times. But these days, the sponsors are the players, except for the Regal Welsh, the Regal Scottish, the Regal Irish, or whatever you're doing, and the embassy itself. You've got Liverpool Victoria, who sponsors the handicap one and sponsor the UK Championships. But you have 4 to 5 other sponsorships that should be coming in and haven't yet. So you're using your money, the players' money, to work things out. And at the moment, you're trying to be as fair as possible with some, and you're cutting others' throats.
The referees are talking about.
Yes, but you can't do nothing about that, because you've got to look at the overall picture. You can support 7 to 8 referees.
Top-class referees.
Top-class referees, but you can't support 146.
But then, of course, we have massive qualifiers. I mean, people that don't even know about the qualifying stages. I mean, what's the life of a referee like in the summer months, has been for a number of years?
The summer months is hectic.
When snooker's not on the television?
It's not on television at all. You get something like 11 qualifiers through to the last 32.
11 tournaments?
11 tournaments. 11 of the... Yeah, but it's 11 qualifiers as well. It's 11 tournament qualifiers for each of the tournaments.
So what's the setup like?
It's massive. You've got... If you were at Blackpool in Orbit Castle, you've got 22 tables going every day of the week for 6-7 weeks on end.
22 tables, 6-7 weeks. How many matches a day?
You're talking about 66 matches a day. When you change from having your marker recorder to the zapper,
big change.
Oh, that was that was mad. All of a sudden we lost 100.
It was like,
I mean, it was just completely different.
It was like D-Day.
Oh.
What happened in the world of snooker was overnight. It was like losing bus conductors off buses. Yes, snooker had
Johnny, the real good ones. Johnny Bramwell, Jim Furlong, Colin Brindhead.
Once upon a time, I tell you these things you forget. Once upon a time there was a referee, and then there was a guy who either worked the computer or wrote the scores down.
That's right.
He was the marker.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, technology just completely slaughtered, decimated the officials' world.
66 went just like that.
66 referees overnight.
Yeah,
just went into the Blackpool down the sewers, I suppose,
well, whatever.
On the beach.
They just
because of the introduction of the computer zapper.
And the funny thing was, you actually brought a fella in who was there to do that job. What he was told was, if you're what your wage is, you've got to get rid of these men and do something that's upmarket. And the upmarket thing to do was use the zapper. Because the individual referee now uses the zapper. He does all his marking, recording, and everything.
That's the lot.
On that computer.
Is that not dangerous? What happened to start with? Was there pandemonium amongst the referees?
I mean, you were getting foul
handheld
stroke.
Control.
Oh, foul stroke. Many was that foul stroke? Asking the players sometimes, forgetting that it was a 7 foul or a 5 foul or a 4. It was easy just hitting foul 4 away. But when you threw it over to the other player, it come back.
Nightmare for the referees.
At the first, an absolute nightmare.
So then, for the whole of the summer months, then, at one stage of your professional refereeing career, all of your summer, what seemed like all of your summer, was taken up refereeing at one. I know one of the venues was Blackpool.
Yeah,
was taken up refereeing at Blackpool day in day out. How many matches a day would you referee?
We would be refereeing 2 a day, but in saying 2 a day, you were Robbie Fulvary, Ian Williamson, one of my classics. I done 11 hours with the 2 of them.
I got one match?
Yeah. I got a break.
Best of 9?
Best of 9.
11 hours?
11 hours. I got a break. Somebody took me off.
Right.
It run into the afternoon. Somebody took somebody else off. It run into the evening. I done another match and ended up with Robbie again. He was still there at 2:45. Robbie and Ian Williamson.
We don't see Robbie Fulvary too much on our television screen.
Well, he's so exciting.
If you're into clubbing, definitely a real swinger. Have a passion for playing around, and don't mind a bit of rough, then spend a few days with like-minded people.
The Compact European Grand Prix with Scottish Life, Thursday 2:15, Sky Sports 1.
I've been doing extra training, working harder, building my strength, day and night. preparing myself to go out there and get stuck in. Big extra, please.
McDonald's Big Extra. It's a real handful. Try and pick one up today.
Next time, Sonny, have a fillet o fish.
Orange believe everything you want should be within your reach. To find out how Orange can bring you guides to music, comedy and film direct to your phone, even movie reviews, call 0800 80 1080. Take your world with you.
If you're looking for a book with a surprise ending, try this one. Bang! Huh?
We'll help find the right book for you. Bookmark shopsmart.com.
Open up! Game Jam! Nobody move!
Find King Doom and the winning message hidden in an M&M's pack and win £100,000. £100,000. The search is on.
For a joining fee of £50, free Internet.net members enjoy 0800 free access and connection to the Internet. The free Internet.net. Check it out and sign up now.
Our new John Smith's Extra Smooth is now so smooth, it really can sell itself. So our no-nonsense man has decided to take it easy for a while. You can't blame him, really.
You've experienced the downs of a referee in refereeing the slowest ever, but you've also must have experienced such a high, the privilege of refereeing the fastest ever 147 break.
5 minutes 20 seconds, absolutely superb.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, what was that like? Talk us through it.
Well, you see, we started off, it was just red, black, and then he's opened a couple of balls out. And then he's went red, black, and I've turned round and I've said, this is a 147. And Ronnie hasn't even thought about it at this time.
Not to Ronnie, to
the marker.
All right, the World Championship is the only place that has markers these days.
That's right. And I'm looking at the balls.
And they're perfect.
Oh, except for one ball. They were perfect. And I just went red. So once he's got in on the red blacks at this situation, crossing the balls.
You were a bit bigger then, so you were keeping up with him.
Oh, yeah. I actually burst a blood vessel. Seriously.
What, doing that one?
Doing that 147.
Did you?
Yeah. I actually had to go to hospital immediately after that match. That was so fun. I'd done the 147 with him. I'd done and I mean, it was classic. He never stopped.
Well, like a racehorse, you burst a blood vessel.
Yeah. Seriously. In my crutch.
Right.
And I'm marking recording.
Right.
For the second half of it. So I'm sitting marking recording.
Oh.
Nipping where the vessel's broken.
Right.
Trying to keep up.
For the second half.
For the second half.
That's not a pretty sight then, I must admit.
No, but I mean, the blood's right down the whole set, because we're wearing grey with the blazers, the red blazers.
Yeah.
It's just, the blood's all just running down it, and I can't do a thing about it, because I'm the next man up.
It could be a daytime programme we're talking about here.
It was so funny.
So anyway, Ronnie O'Sullivan, he got to about, what, 8 or 9 reds?
He got his first 6 reds, where he's got the 48. And he's just crossing the table. So instead of me running round here, running back again, I stopped dead just below the black spot between the 2 cameras. So I was just lifting the black out of the pocket like this. $56. 57. 64. And then when he, which he does, he changes hands. Instead of him looking for the rest, he changed his hands twice in the whole what he called, and he caught me off guard. But like the shots that he played,
he dropped his chalk as well.
Oh,
and in 5 minutes and 20 seconds,
he's got the 147. He's got his piece of chalk, and he's threw it to somebody in the gods. And then when he got down to play his next first shot, he forgot he had no chalk. He sent for a piece of chalk there as well. But Ronnie is the best ever two-handed player, and I don't care what anybody says, that I have ever seen in my natural days. Now, Alex Higgins, I don't care how anybody says it, was the greatest natural player that I've ever seen. And Ronnie's just, with both hands, the greatest there ever will be.
So is it a delight to referee Ronnie O'Sullivan, or is it a worry?
No, it's a delight. The thing is, if he keeps his head and he knows what he's doing, he never even thought twice about the 147, and all of a sudden it was all flowing into his hands. Like, to do it in 5 minutes, 20 seconds, it's nearly impossible if you work on the law of logic.
Who's the fastest player you've refereed?
We done, including the 15-minute break, we done 39 minutes with Tony Drago, 5-0.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan?
No, and Sean Lanigan.
Tony Drago's pretty fast as well then.
Oh, it was a joy to watch that day. I mean, balls on the side, cushion, straight down into the jaws of the pocket and into the pocket. Coming off, screwing back, coming off 3 cushions to get back up, position for another ball. He never missed anything that day.
After a while, obviously, the referees, when they say, who have you got, are they just praying for fast players? Or is there something else?
No, we'll tell you. Yes, they are, but when you watch some of the referees talking to one another, you know they're going to get the fast players because they pick their matches. Yeah, nothing changes. They used to come out and they knew their whole rota from the start to the finish.
Right.
Nobody else did, but they did.
The referees that were picking the
yeah.
Yes, okay. So then you look at a match and you've got a preconceived idea about your day ahead.
Oh yeah.
Because of 2 people on a table.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, what happens? I mean, the referees walk around going, oh, no.
No, but you see, the funny thing is, Steve, you've got referees who actually talk to the players and say, you shouldn't have played that shot, and you shouldn't have done this, and you shouldn't have done the other. Those are head-the-ball referees. You come off your job, you don't talk about that. You go away, you talk about anything else but decisions that you've made all that day. But they actually go to the players at the bar and everything else and say, why didn't you play that other shot instead of doing that?
It would have been faster.
But yeah, but they need to talk like that if they've got a hole in their head. Something's radically wrong with them. The player's bad enough, he's lost. But to turn around and tell him why he lost is a completely different thing. So referees should stay completely away from that.
Yeah, so the players themselves, up until recently, I think perhaps the criticism's gone out of the game now that the referees are more or less calling a miss for every
yeah.
But there was a time when the players were criticising referees for their decisions.
Yeah.
That must be hard to take.
Yeah, but unfortunately you've got to bite the bullet. He's the professional at the table at the time. So, you know, if he tells you something that you logically is logical, but at the same time, if he misses that particular shot and the player hasn't got an advantage from it, what's the use of playing the snooker?
Yeah. We've been talking during the series about people's favourite players or the top players, but we won't talk about what, from your angle, right? Your the top 5 enjoyable players to referee, or if you like, the players that are, in your opinion, the best, but the players that have entertained you the most around the snooker table in your career.
Well, overall, I'm not trying to talk about entertaining. My best friend, which is class, is definitely Terry Griffiths, because he has more time for the kids. He's time to talk to them. He's time to do everything with them. You would be a second to that because you spent more time at the table signing signatures for old dears, people in wheelchairs, getting photographs taken and everything. You wait till they all finish and then you leave for home.
Right, well, they're off-table things.
No. It's not off-table. It's the overall, the picture. You see, I went with you on tour in 1980, and you played some of the roughest places in Northern Ireland, but you enjoyed yourself because you didn't let them get you down. You know what I mean? The overall picture was that you come out friendlier.
Well, that's a side of the... Yeah, okay, well, fair enough, but that's not... You're embarrassing me, Len.
No, but I want to go on. The other one would be Stephen.
Henry.
Now, Stephen doesn't look as if he could crack a joke, and all of a sudden, when you're there in his company and he said something, and all of a sudden, you just fall about laughing because he said something that mightn't be funny to him, but it's funny to everybody else. Like, I sat in a hotel one night, and they just cracked one joke after another about different things. The other one, without a shadow of a doubt, would have to be Jimmy. No matter where you are, you always feel as if you're one of his friends.
Yeah.
No, nobody can turn around and say he's ever said boodle goose, except for a remark that was made by Dominic Gale many years ago. And Jimmy's turned, you what? And you see, Dominic had no brain, so he just didn't think before he spoke. He just went out and said it.
It's very strange. I've asked you sort of about your favourite players to referee on the table.
But these are my favourite players.
Yes, but I was about to say what you've actually said to me, which is very revealing of yourself, and you're very much a people person, and I've known you for ages. That you like people's company.
Oh, I love them.
That's right. But you've actually said that the players that you've liked are the ones that you've said to referee you've liked. So actually, you're saying you prefer to referee the people you like off table.
No. You see, if you look at the players, even when...
See, what about, sorry to interrupt, but what about Ronnie O'Sullivan, refereeing Tony Drager, refereeing Alex Higgins? They must be more of a joy to referee than Terry Griffiths.
It's not just the...
So what is it?
It's the overall character of them at the table, how they take to you, how you take to them, when you're outside or when you're at the table. Ronnie O'Sullivan, if you were talking about fast players, Tony Drago, right?
Alex Higgins.
But Alex Higgins, bar none. You walk the table, you're always going to get something exciting about Alex. Even if he can't play well on the day, he's always got a comment about the referee. And I love to hear his comments. Like, he's called me everything from a Douglas, whatever. But at the end of the day, you can stand at the bar and have a drink with them. That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, being able to stand at the bar with people. Like, you have had 600 to 700 young players come into the game quickly because we needed money to boost the game up. And they had to bring their fees.
Well, they opened the game, yeah.
They opened the game
up to everybody, yes.
Now, I couldn't say on two hands, I didn't like 10 people. The overall picture was that everybody got on with everybody else. And when they come in as professionals, they're really amateurs trying to be professionals. And when you heard them saying, oh, next year. Well, next year's 10 years on, and they're still saying next year. And you see, once you get into that cliche of the top 64, like there should have been a Super League and a league. And if the Super League would have formed, we might have had more sponsors come in.
Do you think so, yeah?
Oh, I think so. You can't have... You've been in the top 16 for 20 years. Now, if you look at the logic, you don't want somebody to go through the prelims till the stages where you're playing just one match to get through and you're knocked out, and then Stephen Hendry's knocked out, and then John Higgins is knocked out. The sponsors want their players at the main events.
But then that's a cartel, and that is also fixing, surely.
No, but that's why I called it the Super League.
Right, okay.
Where there's always the Super League to play against.
But from a referee's point of view, you're saying that you're in a way advocating that the game's not open and sporting by allowing everybody to have a game.
Oh, no. You see, it's been open in sporting to the fact that it's detrimental to the game. You see, if the main sponsors are looking, they're bringing something like, if you take Corals and if you take the UK with Liverpool Victoria, they're bringing something like 400 to 500 people there for the final stages, and they're not seeing that there's top stars. You could have 5 or 9 of the top stars knocked out of the top 16, so they're being missed. And I know it sounds silly, the autographs is being missed as well. It's all part and parcel of the integral game.
You're back now in Northern Ireland?
I'm back in Northern Ireland.
And what are you doing now?
I'm actually coaching the kids, 10, 11 and 12-year-olds, boys and girls. They're playing billiards, snooker. They've got carom. Carom is the one with no pockets. You play 5 cushions and stuff like that. 8-ball, 9-ball, 14-ball in nomination. And that's because through the Snooker Golf Society and through the WPBSA, we have now got it into the Olympic Games 2006.
That's marvellous.
Well, I'm hoping that it carries on even more.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you're back in your home country and...
I'm doing what I wanted to do from the start.
Lovely, and hopefully one day one of your prodigies will be a world champion.
I would like just, even if they got a bronze medal at the Olympic Games, I'd be over the moon.
That's marvellous.
It's a pleasure.
Well, thanks very much, Len. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.